Good afternoon, everyone. This is your Module 2 instructor video for the overview, and I'm going to take you to those resources here in a second. So one note, though, I want to welcome everybody back from Hurricane Florence, delay or disruption in our course. So I hope everyone fared well, and I hope everyone is kind of returning back to some form of normalcy. I know it's probably not going to be the case for a lot of folks in our southeastern North Carolina region, but I'll do everything I can on my end to try to help you get readjusted back to the class, and I'll talk a little bit about that in another video that I will release prior to the start of the course. But anyway, Module 2 overview. Let's talk a little bit about Module 2 since it is going to be released on October 8th. Let me switch you all over to the module. I'm going to put myself in the corner there. All right, and so one of the things I want to do, though, is to show you that when you have access, go into my student view here, so I'm going to see what you all are seeing at this point in time. When I go into the modules section here, you're seeing that we have Module 1, and our orientation and introductions. There is no Module 2 yet, and that's just because I haven't released it for everyone. And so that'll be released on the 8th. So if you're listening to this video right now, chances are obviously the module's already been released. So let me leave that student view, and this way we can go ahead in and see what the Module 2 looks like. All right, so I'm going to open up the overview and kind of read through it with everyone. I think it is a really good thing to do, to try to read over our modules materials. So we're going to be exploring academic standards and Bloom's taxonomy in this module. This is the beginning of what I consider the heavier or meatier content of this course. So please reach out to your PLC and to me if you need any type of academic support. You should now have fully formed PLCs, and the people in your PLC should serve as a support for this course. So if you have not enrolled in a PLC, and there's a few of you that haven't at this point, please get into a PLC and introduce yourself to your peers. All the materials can be found there. And I have a video showing you how to get into a PLC, as well as added information as it relates specifically to what you should be doing in your PLC. So please read through all the assigned readings and watch the instructional videos before beginning your assignments. Sorry about that. I had to make a quick change in our materials so that way everything looks the same on your end. Anyway, we read through this first paragraph. Our responsibilities for this module include, now there's going to be a short reading. It's chapter 4, pages 76 to page 95. We've had multiple chapters in Module 1. We'll have multiple chapters in 3 and 4, but specifically chapter 4 is what our focus is on for this set of readings. Our ABCs of writing instructional objectives. Make sure that you access this document, open it up quickly, get a chance to see what it looks like, and you're going to want to review this. It's a 4-page document. This gets really important as it relates to Bloom's taxonomy, and trying to understand what is expected of us and how we use that as a framework to which we think about when we're designing instruction for our kids. There's also some articles here, Bloom's model of learning. Another resource document, 3-page document. You're going to see this, periodically in this module. I've actually uploaded this document a couple times because I want us to continue to refer to it, because it really does talk about these different dimensions for learning that Bloom talks about, and then the dimensions of learning as they've been reinforced because there's an actual new revision of Bloom's taxonomy. So we're going to talk about the revised one most specifically. And then there's, again, another web page which talks a little bit, again, about Bloom's taxonomy and some of those revisions that I think are critically important. There's Bloom's, you'll find Bloom's action verb resources. I've included those. I'll show you where theirs are, where that information is in a minute. And then our anchor charts, which I am super excited about. Anchor charts tend to be a pretty big hit every semester when we do those, but you'll see here that you'll see the resources here to help you develop your own anchor chart, and to use a really cool little online tool set called easily. We'll talk about that more specifically in the assignment. So there's a couple videos here that I want you to watch. Again, I've talked a little bit before about EDN 301 and all of us as instructors working together. So these two videos you're going to watch are not me. This is actually Selena Rabidou. And she is an instructional designer in the Watson College of Education. You may have had her in another course or not. So we're going to use her videos first on academic standards and the second on learning objectives. One thing I'll say about the academic standards video, the video that she made, still when she made the video, it included references and will include references to the North Carolina Standard Course of Study, which is something that we need to refer to. But at one point in time, the Standard Course of Study only reflected two different disciplines. The one discipline was science, and the second one was social studies or history. The other two content areas, ELA or English and language arts, and mathematics were part of the Common Core. This is the very first year that North Carolina now has written their own standards and included those and replaced them with the Common Core. So when she refers to the Common Core standards in her academic standards video, just know that we are now not working on those anymore. We are currently working in the North Carolina Standard Course of Study for all different disciplines. And this applies as well to those students who are being certified in health and PE, or even some of our music as well, or art. There is another PLC task. Make sure you review that. That's going to be due by October 17th. And it's a very simple little quick assignment. You're going to email me when you got that complete, and then you're going to review and follow this Easily tutorial. This is going to help you get started on how to make an anchor chart assignment for this module. My expectation is that when you submit that Easily chart to me, you're going to do it one of two ways. You can, and I encourage you all to take a screenshot of your product, but also then hopefully you're still going to be able to send me a public link so that I can view it. So you should do both of those. You should always take a screenshot of anything that you produce and save that into your 301 folder somewhere, so that way you can always go back to it if, for instance, you lose or forget your password, or for some reason delete it accidentally. Having that screenshot becomes critically important. So yes, you can work together on these assignments. When I say assignments, you can work together on your standards assignment, right? So if this is your option, then I'll make sure that all involved students' names are visible on that submission, okay? So just in summary, you'll have a module discussion board due. This is going to be a video discussion board. This initial post is due by October 15th, and the response to your classmates will be due by October 19th. Your Easily anchor chart is due by October 22nd, and your standards assignment is due by, that should say, October 29th, not February 29th. I'll change and adjust that. All right. And so that's kind of at this point right now, and just a quick overview of where we are for Module 2. This video, as you're going to see, will appear in this link right here. Some other things that you want to look at, there are some additional readings. These are tools that I think will help you be successful. I've included a lot of those. Especially as these handouts reference Bloom's taxonomy. Some of these are repeats from what I've linked you to already, but I've also added some really cool handouts here, which actually gets into a little bit more detail of each of the specific stages in Bloom taxonomy. This becomes incredibly important when you submit your assignment for Module 2, okay? And then down here is just looks like a kind of a graphical organizer to help you understand Bloom's, and some great just references to verbs and all throughout here, as well as references to what an actual activity might look like if you're going to base it on knowledge, or if you're basing your activity on comprehension or understanding, what activity would reflect that level of understanding. And you'll see lots of links there to help you kind of understand what a lot of that means. Here is our PLC groups task number 2. I'm not going to read this out loud, but I just want you to know that this is where you're going to go to get that, to determine what it is that I'm asking you to do. And then you are going to submit that information. One individual from your PLC needs to submit that information to me via email, okay? But here's your PLC groups. This is your second task. Here's your discussion board. I'm not going to review the discussion board right now with you in this video, but it's there, it's posted, it's ready for you to, start reading, get in there, and start taking a look at what it is that's being asked. Here is your Module 2 activity. I've referenced this before. When we were looking at the overview, this is our easily anchor chart. I've even provided for you some examples of what some anchor charts might look like, and that way you can kind of think about, okay, great. You'll find that using Easily as a tool online, and the links are right here. It is right here. So you'll see that it is very easy. It's very intuitive. I really think you're going to like using that. And don't forget, whether it's my discussion board post, or whether it's my activity, or whether it's my assignment, you will always, always, always have a short rubric that helps you get at understanding what it is that's being asked of you. And then down here we have our standards and our assignment 2. It is 5 parts to this assignment. I want you to read through those. I'll create a separate video that actually addresses each of these 5 parts. I promise it's not crazy detailed as it looks, but I try to provide you with all the information you need in order to be successful. I've even provided you a template that you can use to enter in your information in each of the parts, and hopefully that'll keep you organized. You'll see a lot of I also linked a bunch. It's going to be pervasive throughout this module, but the North Carolina Standard Course of Study, which is where you get your standards, there is a link. I want you all to link to that. You're going to need to. And down here are the areas where there are standards, and you can take a look. When you choose what grade level you're thinking about wanting to teach and design an activity for, when you think about, what type of teacher, what content area you're going to be doing. This is where you find that information after you make those decisions for the assignment in this class. Okay, and you'll see here it's another detailed rubric. I'm going to back out of this one last time. And so here is, by the way, one other thing too, I'll put the instructor video here. I haven't prepared that yet, but it'll get there. And then your student examples. I've actually included a couple different student examples as well, so that way you can see what it is that I'm asking you to do for this assignment. And you have everything that you need in order to be successful. So we'll talk a little bit more about the impact of Hurricane Florence on the class. I'm going to prepare a separate video and post that, so that way you have access to it as well. Enjoy Module 2. It's one of my favorite modules, and I think you all are going to like it. Thanks for listening along.